Nugget, he put some of the video on. Tim Ryan, Renault, saying you could hear the screaming and howling winds from Hurricane Laura during the storm inside the Golden Nugget there in Lake Charles, the casino. But you're getting a little bit more significant damage here. But
that's just some construction signs and stuff that that blown over. Yeah, so
sure.
Yeah, but there's the Pizza Hut right off I-10. And once again, they were worried in this area that you could see some flooding on some of the roadways. And there is a little bit of water here and there over some of the roadways, it looks like, as he drives around. But I haven't seen too much, maybe a little bit of water over some of the roadways, a little foot of water here and there. But getting a little bit more water there behind, what is that, the Market Basket there in Orange that they have. So. But you can see the limbs and the leaves and things like that down on some of the roadways. But
we're seeing some ponding, but goodness, nothing like Rita, where we couldn't pass these roads for weeks because they were such high water over them.
And in Harvey, this area right here was all underwater during Harvey. You said Rita?
I meant Harvey.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, this area right here in particular was all underwater. A lot of houses in here flooded out during Harvey. So not to see all that water during this storm's a good thing for those folks. I know a lot of people are watching from wherever they are, Dallas or Waco or right here in Houston or wherever. I know they're looking at this coverage going, thank goodness there's no water there. So, or thank goodness there's not a lot of damage. There's not a lot of tree limbs and things like that. But great to see that there's minimal damage across parts of southeast Texas, and in particular what we're looking at is the Orange area.
Yeah, and so the big thing here, at least for southeast Texas, will be getting the lights back on and restoring power to much of the area.
Yeah, and this area right here where he's driving through, this is the area that probably had some of the highest wind in southeast Texas, wind gusts up to hurricane force strength. As I showed you the high wind gusts earlier, we were looking at 54 miles per hour. That's before the instrument broke, and we didn't get a wind gust. We didn't get any wind after that. So they got up to about 54, and that's before the storm even really made landfall. So I think we're seeing, it looks like, a little bit more in the way of some limbs down here and a few power poles that were broke down on 16th Street there. But a little bit of water on the road, but overall it doesn't look like it's too bad. A lot better than it could be across the, or a lot better than it could have been across the Orange area. Oh, and there's a big tree down.
Oh, yeah. And so, you know, these are minimal effects, of course, but they'll get crews out here and clean these up quickly. And I'm sure drivetexas.org and TxDOT will be issuing, you know, as they get out and survey, they will update their Twitter pages and that as well, so that you can check those out, and their Facebook pages and their web pages, so that you can see where to go and where you can't go and what's passable, what's not passable. So, but goodness, yeah, this may be a few days to clean up as opposed to weeks or months that we could have seen had it just shifted a bit more to us.
Yeah, like I said, at Lake Charles, they'll be cleaning up for months after this hurricane moved through there. Let's take a real quick look at the weather as we went through the overnight hours. We continue to see more tree limbs down there in the Orange area. But let's take a look at the storm as it did pass through earlier this morning. I have the loop the last 6 hours, and you can definitely see the eye of the storm moving up through southwest Louisiana. It took a direct northerly route through southwest Louisiana. It didn't come too far over into southeast Texas. Now that western section of the eye wall did pass through the area we're looking at right now on Storm Tracker. So they had hurricane force winds over in Orange. So see maybe a little bit more in the way of some limbs down there and a little bit more water. But now it's tracking to the north. It's really starting to fall apart as we get up into parts of the lakes area. The eye is really not that defined. Still some rain on the backside of this, but it's starting to fall apart. So that's some good news there. Let's take a look at rainfall totals, and this is across southeast Texas. And generally rainfall totals have been from a ½ an inch all the way up to about 4 inches. You can see northern parts of Newton County about 3 inches of rain. looking at about 1.5 inches towards, say, sections of Hardin County. There are some sections of Hardin County, western sections, that hardly got any rain at all. Up into Tyler County, maybe a couple of inches of rain there. So generally, say 1 inch to 4 inches, which is not bad at all as far as rainfall totals. We could have saw upwards of 8 inches of rain, so not too bad as far as the rainfall totals. Wind gust in Beaumont, we saw our highest gust at 58. Port Arthur 72. Orange 54 was the last one I could find, and that was before the storm even made landfall. I'm thinking that at least the Orange area had wind gusts probably upwards of 80 miles per hour because they were on the western side of that eye. And then Jasper, this was a little bit earlier this morning. They only saw a wind gust of 35. It might have been a little bit higher now that the eye just passed towards the east of that location up there. And then the forecast for the rest of the day. The storm's going to continue to spin out of here. We'll see some sunshine this afternoon, just kind of partly to mostly cloudy skies, and that should get our temperatures up to around about 90 for afternoon highs. We'll see those southwesterly winds to south winds through the day, and then going into the overnight hours, we'll see temperatures back into the 70s. Have a little disturbance sliding from southwest to north east across the area as we go through the overnight, so that could kick off a couple of showers. I think the bulk of that's going to be just off towards our east. And then our forecast for today, variable clouds, just hot and humid, temperatures into the lower 90s, southwesterly winds at 5 to 15. Heading into the overnight, maybe a few scattered rain showers, mostly cloudy skies as temperatures drop back down into the upper 70s. And then the 7-day forecast calling for I shouldn't have that red bar on a Friday, but I was calling for scattered rain showers pretty much all the way through Tuesday, 50-60% chance each afternoon. By Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, or Wednesday and Thursday of next week, it looks like rain chances are going to start to come down. So overall, really just kind of a wet forecast through the next several days, but it's going to be scattered stuff mainly during the heat of the day in the afternoon.
All right, Jeff, we're continuing to watch our storm tracker travel through neighborhoods of Orange, surveying the damage. You're looking at live pictures right now. As you were giving us the forecast, we did see several trees down in the neighborhood. You're looking at a tree blocking the road there. So our photographer, Derry Shiloh, will have to turn around or go around it. We'll see what he does. To get to where he's going, just to give you an idea of the debris that we're seeing. No major structures have been damaged. No structures have seen major damage, that is, that we've seen. Now, first responders, TxDOT, they're all going out right now. Now that the sun has come up, it's just after 7:15 in the morning. The sun has come up. They had to wait until the sun came up for them to assess the damage. They don't want anyone coming home just yet because there is a plan in place for when you do come home. And they don't know just yet how bad some of the areas are when it comes to debris. So you don't want to try to come home just yet. Depend on us, depend on your first responders to let you know when is a safe time to return. Just like us, we're at a remote location. We understand, we get it, we want to be home too. So we're going to wait when the first responders tell us, and everyone else has to kind of follow suit and just wait it out just a little while longer. But you're looking at live pictures from Orange, and we've seen some trees down. We've seen a trampoline blown over. We usually see that in a storm. Trampolines, sometimes they land in your neighbor's house and they come home and think that they have a new gift. But yeah, they pick up easily from the wind and can fly off.
That's going to be a little bit more than just a pickup of some limbs right there.
Yes, that's going to be more than, that's going to take some time right there.
Like I said, this area is the area that had the hurricane force winds, probably upwards of 80, 90 miles per hour. So this is why we're seeing a little bit more in the way of trees down and a little bit more damage towards the Orange area.
You're looking at Clark Lane right now. That's where you're seeing this damage, a tree down. So that road's going to be impassable, I'm sure, for a little while. until TxDOT crews can get out there and clean the damage. But we're probably going to see a lot of this in southeast Texas. Trees down, debris all over the roads. But the good news is we're not getting any word of any major flooding, no severe wind damage. Now, we have heard reports of one roof on Highway 105, I'm told. Let's see if I can go back to what the sheriff's office reported this morning. Highway 105 at Keith Road, near Keith Road, blocking 3 lanes of traffic, excuse me, due to a roof being in the road. So that's Highway 105 near Keith Road. So we did get that one report, but we really haven't received any other reports of any major damage when it comes to homes or schools or businesses. When dairy first got to the Orange area, we did see what looked to be a business with some smaller buildings that had some damage, but that's really all we've seen. So here's how you can send your pictures. I was just on Facebook when I was looking for that post from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office about the road closure at 105 and Keith Road, and I did see a real quick glimpse that people are starting to take pictures. Those that did stay home, starting to show video and actually go on Facebook Live and let their followers know what they're seeing. So if you're one of those people, go to our app, the 12 News Now app, tap Near Me, and you can share your photos and videos with us. That way we can send them to or show them to our viewers and also post those on our social media pages and let your neighbors know what's going on in your neighborhood. So again, go to the 12 News Now app, tap Near Me, share your photos and videos with us, and we'll share them to Southeast Texas. Again, our storm tracker out surveying the damage, taking a real good look at Orange right now. Orange County seeing a lot of outages when it comes to the power. According to Entergy right now, Orange County has just at 34,000 customers without power. So 34,000 customers in Orange County without any lights on. But we're seeing some debris right there in yards. Let's talk about Jefferson County. Jefferson County is right at 47,000 people without power. Chambers County, just 13. So not bad there at all. Tyler County, we're seeing about 2,500 customers without power. Newton County just has 4. And that's pretty much the bulk of it right there. I think I just mentioned Tyler with 2,500, Orange 34,000, Jefferson 47,000, Hardin County 10,000. So yeah, if you look at the total of all of these local counties combined, about 94,000 Southeast Texans without power this morning. So if you're waking up with us and wondering what your conditions may be in your neighborhood, basically power outages is the bulk of what we're seeing this morning.
And no wonder, right? Look at all the limbs down that we're
Yeah.
seeing. No wonder we have all the power outages. I don't know if you saw earlier, Vanessa, he drove down 16th Street and right in front of Spanky's, we had a power pole cracked in half and they had a line down across the street on 6th Main Street there in Orange.
Right, and we want to remind people, we've been trying to encourage this all morning after speaking with an Entergy representative, a spokesperson earlier, saying leave that to the professionals to do, leave that to the linemen who are just now able to get out and start assessing the damage and start working on the power outages. So leave that to them, the professionals. These wires may be live. You just don't know what you're walking into when you think, oh, I can do this by myself. I can just move this on the other side of the road. Don't do that. Report it. You can do that on the Entergy website, your power outages, and they will get to you as soon as possible. But again, 94,000 people, customers in Southeast Texas without power. So it may be some time before they get to you. You're encouraged by Entergy to not just keep calling and reporting the same outages. They are taking note of the first one that you report report. That's all you need to do, and they will get to you as quick as possible. But with a number like that, a massive number of 94,000 customers, this may take some days to get everybody back up and running.
Yeah, and if you're evacuated, maybe take, a lot of people said, I'm going to take a couple days, right, and not return maybe till the weekend. That's probably a good idea. Give them a little bit of time to get the power back up and go and get those limbs, the debris off the roads, so we don't cause any more problems or any more headache for them. And
that's a good point that you just made, because you don't want to interfere with their job. They have a plan in place. They're going to move in there right now. They are moving in there right now, starting to work on this. And if Southeast Texans start coming home in droves, then you are going to put a damper on what they're trying to accomplish. So I think that the longer we sit and wait for the officials to say, oh, it's okay for this county to come back in, then we'll do that. But right now, let the first responders and these linemen get in and start working on this, and hopefully we can all get home soon.
Absolutely. And the latest update, if you're just waking up and saying, okay, what is it now? Is it gone? Is it completely gone? Hurricane Laura is now a Cat 2 storm with winds of about 100 miles an hour. It's about 20 miles north of Fort Polk, Louisiana right now, moving at about 15 miles an hour. Rainfall rates of over 2 inches per hour remain possible in parts of northern Louisiana. And Jeff was telling us we can get some rain showers here as well, but for Southeast Texas, pretty much gone.
Yeah, well, we have one little swath of rain across basically northern Tyler, Jasper, and then Newton counties, and then that's it. And that should be gone probably here the next couple of hours as the storm lifts off towards the north. Really, the rain around the center of the storm, or around the whole thing, is really died off, and there's not much out there left on radar. So it looks like this storm caused a big ruckus as it made landfall, but now really dying down quickly. And I expect that winds to go well down under 100 miles per hour by later on this morning into this afternoon.
Yeah, and you can see some of these, this area is hit a little bit harder here in Orange. I saw quite a few trees down around this area. So we're doing this for you folks so that you don't have to go back into it, right? Because that's the thing. When I woke up this morning, I thought what all of you were thinking, how does my house look? How does my neighborhood look? And we have a little neighborhood feed, and everybody started texting each other, are the lights on? What's the damage? That kind of thing. So we want to just kind of show you the area. Of course, Orange was one of the worst hit areas of Southeast Texas. Of course, Louisiana getting the brunt of it, but Orange had a lot of damage. So we're trying to show you kind of around, let you know what it looks like there at home, so maybe you can relax a bit. Of course, we're not maybe seeing your house, but maybe there are some people who stayed around in your area, so you don't have to rush back if things look okay. And just kind of let the energy crews get in there, get things back up and running, get a little bit faster for everybody. And I do want to mention this because I know on Facebook I saw a lot of people saying, what happened to this major category, almost category 5 storm that Jeff and Patrick were predicting, and why is my house not destroyed? Because they told me to evacuate, whatever. I do want to say, it's the right thing to do, right? And the folks in Sulphur, in Cameron, in Lake Charles, who had significant damage. The lady in Sulphur who had her entire roof ripped off while she was home, that's the kind of thing we're talking about, and the major damage. And Jeff, as we mentioned, 20 miles different, and our homes would have been those with the roofs ripped off.
Yeah, 20, 30 miles off towards the west, we've been seeing that same type of damage across Southeast Texas. And it's all because the storm took a little bit of a jog northward right before it made landfall. It stayed on a northwesterly track until probably just a couple hours before making landfall, and then it went north. And it really spared most of Southeast Texas. This area that Derry's driving through had the strongest winds. We're talking about hurricane force winds, probably upwards of about 85 miles per hour. And yes, a lot of trees down, but we're not seeing a whole lot of structural damage as he drives around. A couple of signs here and there. We've seen a couple of power poles that went down. But overall, not a ton of damage here. But you go over to Lake Charles, where they had a wind gust of 132 miles an hour around the eye of this storm. they have so much damage over there. We're going to be hearing about it for a while, and they're going to be taking a long time to clean up over there. I don't know if folks are aware of the Capital One tower over there. That's the big green tower, and it's all glass. That it's kind of the landmark of
Right.
the Lake Charles skyline. And I don't know how many windows were blown out of that, but there was a lot more windows blown out that were left in that building. And just devastating stuff over there.
That's the picture I've seen tweeted more than any other from that area.
Well,
Really
yeah, like I
sad.
said, when you think of Lake Charles, downtown Lake Charles, you think of that building. And yeah.
I do want to show you, we do have several reporters in Orange County right now and just logged on to Twitter because they are tweeting some of the photos that they're seeing from Orange. Look at this, if we can take this a little closer if we can. I don't know if you can see it from that angle, but windows blown out at McDonald's in Orange. This is Janelle Bludo they're reporting for us. So windows blown out. You can see another restaurant here. The back part of that restaurant, the roof, that's Popeye's Chicken. Back part of that roof blown off. But yes, windows blown out at McDonald's in Orange. She's also reporting power poles down, trees in the road. Some good Samaritans trying to help clear the roads here in Orange. So the Good Samaritans are already out trying to do that. Again, you know, we emphasize that the first responders, the emergency crews will be out. Thank you to the Good Samaritans who are out there trying to help, but be extremely careful if you are one of those Samaritans out there. Lots of trees down on streets around homes. You're looking at more pictures. Let's try to take that up full for you so you can get a better idea. Look at this, completely uprooted at this home in Orange. More here around a garage. Good news is it didn't land on the roof, right? So if it lands in the yard, we'll take that. Yeah, and more trees down there. Amelia Wright, who is one of our reporters, she's also in Orange. Look at this. This is what we didn't want. Damaging trees toppled into homes. This is off West Champion Avenue. Is that correct? Have you heard of West? I don't know if she meant to say Chapman or Champman Avenue in Orange. This looks like the tree. It's kind of at a weird angle. It's almost like the tree, Jeff, if you're looking at this, is coming out of the house.
It's hard to tell. It might be, I was trying to wonder if it's just a big giant limb that fell into the house because there's a big old tree right there next to the side of the house. It's hard to tell, yeah.
Well, that house unfortunately did receive a lot of damage to the front of it, and they even boarded up the upstairs of their home. But
and that was exactly what the things that we didn't want to see. Like you said, tree limbs into homes. Yeah, that's not what we wanted. Yeah.
No. Look at Interstate 10. This is also from Amelia White going west. Power completely out. We've been talking about that all morning. 90,000 people without power in southeast Texas. So we're continuing to follow these reporters as the sun starts coming up. You can follow them as well. You can also follow us at 12 News Now on Twitter and on Facebook and Instagram. So yes, we're seeing some of these storm footage, aftermath photos just coming in. Janelle, let's see, street flooding and limbs down inside neighborhoods. Minor flooding though, just along the curbs. And you see some blue tarps on roofs. Let's scroll some more. She says, with the sun coming up, this intersection in Orange appears to be untouched from any significant damage. You see a lot of other places boarded up. So just debris in the road is what we're seeing there. So the only real big problem we saw from her tweets was that one home with the tree. And also up early with us this morning is Governor Greg Abbott. We just interviewed him. Here's what he had to say about the storm.
We've been making assessments over the night, including up to the minute, and the best we can tell, some good news, which is really premature, is that we have no reports yet of any deaths. There are a lot of people without power right now, maybe as many as 100,000 people without power right now. Obviously, you could see the storm and continues to sweep through Texas in an unprecedented fashion because it's not just where the surge came in, but it's going up north in Jasper and Center Texas all the way up to Marshall, Texas. So in northeast Texas, a hurricane is going through there for, as far as I know, the first time ever. So this truly is unprecedented. I will be leaving now to go over to that region to make an assessment of the damages and help the people of East Texas begin to piece back their communities. We had, I know, well over 5,000, maybe as many as 10,000 people who evacuated, and especially for those in the Port Arthur and Orange and Beaumont areas, it could have been a lifesaver. That may be one reason. While we don't have any reports of loss of life yet, we still don't know how many people may be injured. We will be learning that here shortly as the sun rises. And we have search and rescue teams in place to make sure that everybody is going to be safe. But it's so important for people to remember that early evacuations for a Category 4 hurricane like this that whipped through Texas as well as Louisiana, those evacuations did save lives. The rescuers are involved and engaged as we speak right now, and they are undertaking searches, and they will be making rescues if there are people who need it. And so we have teams covering the entire area trying to assist anybody who does need to be rescued.
Well, it looks like this storm was a big deal for parts of southwest Louisiana as far as the wind gust up to 132 miles per hour. A lot of damage there. And we've been seeing a lot of tree limbs down and some damage across parts of southeast Texas. One more time, we'll see that loop come by, and you can see the eye did skirt Orange over there towards the Orange area and through parts of Newton County, and now continues to work off towards the north, and it's continuing the weekend quite a bit. I'm looking at the next advisory. The winds will be down under 100 miles per hour as it continues to move off towards the north at about 15. Once again, some of the strongest winds through Orange County, southern Newton County, and now as it moves up towards the north, the eye is really getting ragged. There's a little bit of rain left over through parts of Jasper and Newton County, but nothing too heavy out there. Matter of fact, rainfall amounts are pretty light as we look across parts of southeast Texas, anywhere from half an inch all the way up to about 4 inches of rain. So about half of what we are expecting across the area as this storm was moving in. But once again, we were looking at the storm to maybe be a little bit closer over into southeast Texas than it did. It took that one jog to the north right before it made landfall and then shot straight up north through southwest Louisiana. So that saved us. If it would have kept that northwesterly track and tracked into, say, the center, went over Orange County up through Jasper and Newton County, we would have saw a lot higher rainfall amounts and a lot higher wind gusts. Here are the wind gusts being reported. Beaumont, we had a high wind gust of 58. Port Arthur, almost a hurricane force wind gust, 72. Orange, I'm sure that you had at least hurricane winds, probably 75, 85 miles per hour, but the anemometer, the gauge that measure winds, stopped working early before they even made landfall. So we saw a gust of 54, and then we didn't get any more reports from Orange. And then Jasper, 35 was the highest wind gust I saw, but the center of the storm hadn't reached there yet. So your wind gust might be as high as maybe 40 or 50 miles per hour. Compare that to what we were looking at in parts of southwest Louisiana, where they saw 120, 132 as far as the wind gust, and we've been showing you all morning all the damage over towards the Lake Charles area. As we head towards later on this morning, that storm's going to retreat back off towards the north. It's continue to weaken. We're going to see the winds really start to come down. We're seeing the rain already move out a large section of southeast Texas. Don't expect much rain through the afternoon. It's going to be hot. Temperature's going to be into the lower 90s with southwesterly winds between about 5 and 10 miles per hour going through the overnight. Excuse me, going through the overnight, we're looking at temperatures to be dropping back down into the 70s, and we're going to see chances of rain pop up overnight, but about 30-40% chance of some scattered showers for the overnight period, and temperatures going to be back there into the middle to upper 70s. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast, and we're calling for rain chances around 50-60% each afternoon, going through Tuesday. So could be fairly wet at times with temperatures into the lower 90s. And then as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, just 20% chance of a couple of showers here or there. So looking a lot better as we head towards the middle of next week. Let me pull up the radar one more time. And we can see what the current radar looks like. And once again, it's just a band of rain kind of on the front side of that eye, moving through northern parts of Jasper, central parts of Newton County. And once again, that's kind of working its way up towards the north. So it should be out of here over the next hour or two. And as I mentioned, winds right now at 100 miles per hour. I think that should really start to drop as we head towards 8, 9 o'clock for this morning. Tracy?
All right, Jeff, I know I don't want to talk about this, but we maybe should mention it before we get too comfortable. Tell me what's happening off Africa.
I don't have a graphic for it, but we have a wave coming off Africa right now, just a low chance of some development. So
And at this point, so far out that we wouldn't know.
no,
which way
and
it's going.
you know, we've got a couple of weeks to worry about it, so it's nothing we have to worry about. And remember when Marco and Laura were first developing, we had that wave coming off the coast of Africa. That was that third thing we were looking at, and we're going to see it tracking towards us. Well, it fell apart. So
Right.
hopefully this next one coming off the coast will fall apart as well. But
Let's hope they all fall apart.
problem is we're not even to the peak of hurricane season. I hate to say it. We're going to have to wait until we get into the middle of September. That's usually the peak, and hopefully at that point things will remain fairly quiet. You know, or what does develop stays out in the Atlantic, kind of curves northward. We'll have to wait and see. We've had our storm for the season. We're done.
Yeah, let's hope, right?
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah.
At least we know for the rest of the week and foreseeable future anyway. That
I kind of like what Judge Jeff Brannick said. He said, you know what, we've had so many problems here in Southeast Texas as far as storms and all this stuff. He goes, we deserved a break.
we deserved a break.
We deserved a break, and we got one finally. I know there's still a little bit of damage here and there, and there's some trees down. Unfortunately, we saw that one house that had the tree in it, but as far as what it could have been compared to what we got, I think we'll take it.
Yeah, I'm hearing some people with minor damage.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, but for the most part, everybody's doing the happy dance.
And I think over the next couple of days, as more images come out from the Lake Charles area and what they went through and what they got, I think a lot of folks in Southeast Texas will be, thank goodness, yeah.
For sure. And we do now need to rush to their aid. If you were okay,
Yeah.
and you can help the folks in Lake Charles or Cameron Parish, those areas to kind of clean up.
Yeah,
jump
those
in and
folks are
help out.
probably going to be needing some supplies and things like that. And I'm sure, as always, Southeast Texas with a big heart will be over there helping out as much as they can.
I already saw a Facebook page pop up that said,
Yeah.
you know, they're gathering supplies for some families. And so, you know, whatever you can do to pay it back, because, you know, that's how it works, right? Right here on the coastline and going straight up that
Gosh,
that
when we had
line.
Harvey and Melody, how many people from Southwest
Oh, for
Louisiana
sure.
ran over here to help us? I mean, tons
Absolutely.
of people. Yeah.
And going right up that line between Louisiana and Texas, we knew that storm could go either way and barely fluctuate. And these, you know, totally different stories. So, yeah, jump in and help them out
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Okay, guys, we're just getting pictures from Janelle Bludeau showing us, let's go to her Twitter if we can, the back part of this church destroyed in orange. And if you can see the front part looking okay, but this back side, the roof completely torn off by the strong winds that came in the early morning hours. So the back part of that church again, all of that roof blown off into the parking lots there. We want to take a look at our Skycam now up over the 12 News studio. We are happy to report that our studio did not receive any damage along Interstate 10. So good news for us here at 12 News. We were happy to see that because we want to go back to our second home as well. And Interstate 10 moving smoothly right there in Beaumont as well. You see a few cars on the road as we approach the 8 o'clock hour. Usually it's rush hour on a Thursday morning and you see more traffic than that. But our Skycam showing a few people on the roads starting to come back into town. But we want to remind everyone, Wait until first responders say it's okay to come back into town. Wait until your county judge, wait until TxDOT gets out, clears that debris off the road. They're out there right now that the sun has come up, starting to assess the damage. And when they give the okay, then people can start coming into town county by county. We don't all want to rush in at one time. It's going to put you in a lot of traffic, and you don't want that. And also dampen their efforts when it comes to getting everything back up and running. And so make sure you wait. Patience when it comes to getting back home. I know everyone wants to go home. We do too, but we have to wait for the responders who are there just now assessing the damage to let us know that it is okay. You're looking at live pictures continuing to follow our storm tracker who's surveying the damage. Derry Shiloh, one of our photographers, is driving through Orange right now. He's been through some of the neighborhoods, seen some trees down over some of the roads, a lot of debris on the roads and yards of homes, but nothing too major. The only major damage we've seen so far from our storm tracker and also our reporters who are there in the Orange area is damage to a church, damage to the McDonald's in Orange, the windows blown out, also the Popeyes chicken that's right there in the same parking lot nearby, and also a roof that was collapsed. A tree went into a home in Orange, and that's pretty much all we've seen when it comes to significant damage. But we're still, again, this is early on when it comes to the aftermath of Hurricane Laura. We're just getting out to see just the impact that this storm has had on southeast Texas. Still a lot of power outages in our area. Updating the outages by county. If we can look here, let's see if I can scroll up. Okay, so Hardin County still at 10,000 customers without power. Orange County right at 35,000 customers. Jefferson County just a little over 53,000 customers without power. Those linemen just now getting out and starting to get out there and get to work. If you want to report outages in your area, you can go to Entergy's website, look to see if your home may be without power. And if it is, you can make a claim on Entergy's website. Just go to their website and let them know that you are without power, and they will get to you as soon as possible. Now, you're looking at over 90,000 people in southeast Texas without power, so it may be a while before they can get to you. When I say a while, it could be hours, it could be days, so be patient when it comes to these linemen. There's hundreds of crews out just getting started to start working on those power lines and getting everything restored for you. No estimated time frame right now for restoration. Crews still working to assess the damage. 10,000 workers have been assigned to restoration. More, we're told, are on the way. And these workers are also in southwest Louisiana, Cameron Parish, Lake Charles area. If they can get there right now due to the floodwaters in Louisiana, they're going to try to get there as well. But for our area, they are just now getting out and about to start on these power outages.
Yeah, and a couple things. So on Entergy's website, if you go either entergytexas.com or Entergy Louisiana, you'll get those alerts sent right to your phone, right? So you're away, you're in Dallas, and you're like, when is the power going to be back on? You don't have to keep checking. You can have them send you an alert right to your phone. So then you're like, okay, lights are back on, time to go home.
Yeah.
Also, wanted to bring this up. If you're on Facebook, Hurricane Laura across southeast Texas and Louisiana, USA, there's a page. Hurricane Laura, if you just search Hurricane Laura, it's the first thing that pops up. And you can mark yourself safe there so that family and friends, when they're on Facebook, they'll say, oh, good, because a lot of people that you don't even know may be worried about you, not know how to get in touch with you. So you can do that. And then also all kinds of pictures. In fact, Vanessa, you may be able to bring this up, but in Sulphur, there was quite a bit of damage. I know we've been talking about Cameron and Lake Charles. Sulphur, that's where we were mentioning earlier, the lady woke up in the middle of the night. Her roof was actually torn off during the storm. They had significant damage, and there's a lot of pictures from Sulphur there.
I'm just looking at a picture from KPLC, the station over in Lake Charles. They have a tower, a television tower right over the station, and it survived Rita. It survived a couple of different hurricanes. Well, last night it collapsed. I don't know if it damaged the station. I'm just seeing kind of a fuzzy picture, but it collapsed.
At the height of the storm, about 100 and, did they get the 150 or about 130?
132
Okay.
was the let's see, it survived Audrey and Rita. So that tower has been there since 1954, and it collapsed last night, this one right over the station.
All right, just getting this update as well. Jefferson County Judge Jeff Brannick has just lifted the mandatory evacuation order. That will be effective at 10 o'clock this morning. So, and 57,000 without power across Southeast Texas at just a few hours ago. So we are continuing to get these updates into us, and of course, we're going to continue to let you know about them. We've been doing wall-to-wall coverage since the inception of this thing, Jeff, and I guess that's the nature of the beast, and especially in your business. But to watch it minute by minute, see it change hour by hour, and then now getting to this point where we're able to go, okay, we dodged a bullet here in Southeast Texas, but now looking to our neighbors to the east and what's next for them, and it could be weeks to get the lights back on there. But for the rest of the week, their weather looking like ours, pretty much.
They're going to be dealing with some scattered rain and stuff like that, but of course nothing like what they saw. But I've been looking at a lot of pictures now coming in from Lake Charles, now that the sun's coming up, and it's really catastrophic damage across the Lake Charles area. I've seen pictures from, if you know Lake Charles, I've seen pictures from Ryan Street, McNeese Street, lots and lots of structural damage over there.
And you have family there.
My son lives in Lake Charles. He's in Baton Rouge at college right now, but he lives generally into the Lake Charles area. I don't know, his mother is with him in Baton Rouge, so I don't know what the structure of their home is like or the damage to their home, but I would imagine they've got some big palm trees around their home, so I'm hoping that didn't, those are okay and those didn't cause a big problem here or there.
All right, again, as we've been mentioning, the most powerful hurricane to hit southwestern Louisiana, and still no word, we hopefully no deaths reported or related to the damage. And is that usually when I say retire the name Laura, I guess it has to have significant damage, and then...
Yeah, it has to have significant damage, so Laura will be retired.
It will? Okay.
Yeah, seeing the images from southwest Louisiana, I don't see how they would go ahead and name another storm Laura.
And that's basically just so that when you hear that, you go, oh, no.
Exactly, and that's why they do it.
This is the storm that's going to take us out.
Yeah, so if it's a historic storm like this one it was, they'll go ahead and retire the name. I'm sure they will, yeah.
All right, and let's hope we're one and done for this year. Ugh.
Yes.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if my nerves can take it. Last night, goodness, I thought I needed sleep, but I couldn't sleep because I knew, and I couldn't stop watching the coverage and seeing all the, the reports and the changes anyway.
Yeah.
Just glad it turned out for the best for most of us. And a lot of that was because, talk again about the eye of the storm. That's what saved a lot of Southeast Texas, is that eye was so compact, right?
Yeah, hurricane force winds are only about 70 miles from the center. And when you're talking a storm coming up through central parts of Cameron Parish and Lake Charles, well, Lake Charles is a little over, 55, 60 miles away from the Beaumont area. So we didn't really see those hurricane force winds. Places like Orange did, and say Mauriceville, maybe Deweyville saw some hurricane force winds, but too far away from the center, because the center, the wind zone extended out about 60, 70 miles. So it just was right over southwest Louisiana. Right now, the eye's kind of falling apart. We still have some showers through northern parts of Jasper and Newton counties, but those are breaking up. and expecting to see the rest of the day should be dry.
All right, and people want to know, Vanessa, can they start making their way back on some of the roads getting closer to home? You're monitoring the road conditions for us.
I currently am right now. I'm working the computer and my phone. I just want to update what you said, Tracy. Jefferson County Judge Jeff Brannick has lifted the mandatory evacuation order for Jefferson County starting at 10 o'clock this morning. It's now almost 8 o'clock, so you have about 2 more hours before you can start heading back home. And also, I want to let you know that I'm monitoring TxDOT, and they have reported within the last 20 minutes that the Rainbow and Veterans Memorial Bridge on Highway 73 between Bridge City and Port Arthur now back open. It's been closed overnight due to the high winds, but the Veterans Memorial Bridge and the Rainbow Bridge are now back open. So if you look at drivetexas.org, TxDOT is also telling you to monitor this web page whenever you start to make your return back home, whenever that may be. Monitor this web page to see the road conditions. And luckily, there are no closures other than Highway 87 at 124 Bolivar Peninsula. So that's the only one we're seeing right now. So if you live along the Bolivar Peninsula or you're trying to get to Galveston from southeast Texas, you'll have to go around through Baytown, LaPorte, Seabrook, Kemah, Texas City, that direction to get to Galveston. No word yet from the ferries if they're up and running yet, but if you're trying to come through 124 to 87, still impassable. You can't get through that way. Other than that, look how pretty this is, Tracy. No closures in southeast
what
Texas.
we like to see.
I-10, though, is still closed at the state line, east and west, both directions. So you can't get to Louisiana. Louisiana can't get to us. On Interstate 10, that's still closed. But other than that, the bridges are back open. I-10 is open. All of the roads. Now, as we've been showing you from our pictures, from our reporters, and from our storm tracker, there are trees in some roads and neighborhoods. There's some debris down. So if you are making your return home to Jefferson County at 10 o'clock, that's when the mandatory evacuation order is lifted. Be careful. Take your time. You may also see minor street flooding. Our photographer and our storm tracker saw a little bit of that when he was out and about in the neighborhoods in Orange and had to turn around. So just be mindful of that, and also be safe when you're returning home starting at 10 o'clock this morning for Jefferson County. Now, the mandatory evacuation orders are still in effect for all of the other counties, and stick with 12 News. We will tell you as soon as those are lifted.
Yeah, the Galveston County residents can return home.
Good.
Just getting this, Galveston County residents, excluding Bolivar Peninsula, because you mentioned that. And that's due to Highway 87, I'm guessing,
Right.
because we showed that the rocks completely covering the road there. So they've got to clean up all those rocks before they can allow people to come down there. But if you are a Galveston County resident, it looks like if you don't have to go that direction and across the Bolivar Peninsula, you can return home. So.
And let me look around my look right now. And as I look for the ferry, I'll talk about 87. You know, they've had some problems with that stretch of road for some time. TxDOT has been working on that road right there at 124 for over a year now, trying to get that road lifted higher, moved a little bit more inland, so that debris during a normal storm, a rainstorm, a thunderstorm that we see, those waves pushing the debris onto the road doesn't close that road, because those who live on Bolivar or have homes on Bolivar, anytime it rained, you couldn't know if you could get back home to southeast Texas or get back to the beach, but they have been working on it. So it has caused some problems for a while for that area, but again, this is due to a storm, and TxDOT has been working on it. Looking at the Galveston ferry, they have not made any updates yet on when those ferries will reopen.
All right, just moments ago, of course, we have crews on the ground all throughout southeast Texas monitoring the roadways and the damage for you. And we showed you not too long ago in our storm tracker that there was some damage in Orange at Meeks Drive and Beverly. They're flooding there and a tree down. So we sent our Kelsey Johnson to that area. Let's go to her right now and see what she can tell us. Good morning, Kelsey.
Good morning, Tracy. Yeah, we've been riding around Orange County for a long time, and you know, this is probably one of the worst areas that we've seen so far. This is on Meeks Drive and West Beverly Avenue. If you can see, I mean, some light flooding here. There's a tree down right in the middle of the road there. There's a tree down on the other side of the road over there. And then if you go down to Eddy Street, that street is also flooded as well. I mean, we're seeing a lot of this. Earlier, I was over at the Flying J, and it appears like their wrap on their tarp, on their above their gas tanks, that had been ripped off. Some of their gas pumps were messed up. There were the pumps actually laying on the ground. If you go to my Twitter, Kelsey Johnson TV, I've also posted there where the Waffle House sign has been messed up. There was a street light in the middle of the roadway at Highway 62 and I-10. It's, you know, they say we got, you know, we're the lucky ones in the storm. You know, I'd hate to see what Lake Charles looks like, because looking around here right now, there's a lot of damage. David, if you can turn the camera down Meeks Drive a little bit to look, you can see right there the sign. I believe it's Terrace Vine, that apartment complex, that sign's down. You can see a lot of debris covering the roadways. I know we do have a team in our Storm Tracker Center that's been riding around here in the area, kind of giving y'all an update on what's going on. But again, I am at Meeks and West Beverly Avenue. You can see some light flooding. We're going to be riding around here to check out, you know, what's going on in the neighborhood and to keep you guys informed. I did speak with the Orange County Judge, John Gauthier, earlier, and he said that just give them some time to assess everything, to see what's going on before you head back. They just want to make sure that everything is safe before people in the community come back here to Orange County. But again, you know, we're going to keep you updated. You can see the flooding. There's a truck coming through right now. You know, if you see these high waters, turn around, don't drown. We say that. That's something that we say all the time. You know, just be very careful. So again, right now, oh, there's a truck coming, so I'm going to move over real quick. You can really see how high the water is up on his tires right there. You can come on through. You can come on through. So, again, we're going to be keeping you updated all day today on what's going on here. We're finally being able to really get a good look and to be able to come in here and kind of see what's going on. But again, you know, this is on Meeks Drive and Beverly Avenue. We're going to keep you updated on what's going on here in Orange and in Orange County. My partner David and I are going to be riding around. So if y'all see something, shoot us a message, you know, so we can go get some video and just keep everybody informed on what's going on here in Orange. For now, live in Orange, Kelsey Johnson, 12 News.
No, Kelsey, that reminds me, seeing the truck go through and those high waters there. I've known from past experience where sometimes these cars will speed through this area and then push that water into the homes that didn't have water in them. So be mindful of that. If you do have a big truck and you can make it through some of those areas, just be careful that you don't go too quickly. So we don't want to push any water into people's homes, right? All right, continue to be safe out there, Kelsey. Kind of interesting, came right behind her, and she's don't drive through the floodwaters. Oh wait, here comes a guy driving through the floodwaters. But I guess, Jeff, these floodwaters are not so much so that they're completely impassable like they would be with major flooding, right?
Yeah, what we've seen is just some street flooding, and I haven't seen anything too high, at least from the tracker perspective. We were watching him drive through some of the water and didn't look too bad. I want to give you a quick update. As of 8 o'clock, they're still saying winds are at 100 miles per hour. I thought for sure they'd drop them below 100 because the center of the storm does not look too healthy at all. Matter of fact, as it moves up north of Vernon Parish, looks like it's very ragged. Still seeing pocket of some light showers, extreme northern Jasper and Newton counties, but rain has moved out of most of southeast Texas and will continue to be dry through the rest of the afternoon, as we're expecting to see temperatures today up into the lower 90s. So things are winding down across southeast Texas. We'll see some rain in the forecast the rest of this week, but we're not going to see, of course, conditions like we saw over the last 24 hours. That's for sure, Tracy.
That is good news. I like seeing that map. I want to see all those colors gone, Jeff.
And, you know, give it to maybe 10, 11 o'clock, and I think it will be a blank map. I don't think we'll see anything on the radar.
All right. I can feel home. I can smell it. It's close.
10 a.m., Tracy. That's when they're saying Jefferson County can go home.
Yeah,
so if you're in Jefferson
hopefully.
County, it's getting a little closer for you.
Yeah, and let's hope the best for everybody as they go home and start to assess. And still waiting for a lot of pictures and videos to come in, but we are starting to get a lot of your pictures and videos sent to us, so we appreciate that. And again, Hurricane Laura across southeast Texas and Louisiana is the website if you'd like to go, or the Facebook page where you can go tell people that you're okay and check out some of those pictures that people are sending down, or 12newsnow.com. Also on our app, download our app. You can tap Near Me there on our app. If you have our 12 News app, you know where you watch live, which you may be doing on your phone right now. Right next to that, there's a spot that says Near Me. You can share your photos, your videos there. Tell us where you took it, and then we can post that and let people know, oh, this is in my neighborhood, or this is in my city, and here's how it's looking right now. I'm having people blowing up my phone this morning saying, hey, can you go check my house when you go by? So, you know, let your folks know, or your neighbors know by sharing those with us, so that we can let everybody know, and then they don't have to rush back to the area if their homes are in good shape and they need to stay away a little bit longer. So, very easy to do. All right, Jeff, the next update, I guess, well, we'll get to this energy, and then the next update coming up at 10 o'clock.
The next big update, but they've been doing it every hour now that it's actually made landfall. They've been updating the storm every hour, so we're going to continue to see that. I think 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they'll give the update on what the winds are doing. And right now, they've been dropping it anywhere between 5 to 10 miles per hour each hour. And so this next update at 9 o'clock, we should see it below 100. Rainfall amounts that we saw with the storm across southeast Texas, anywhere from about a half an inch all the way up to about 4 inches of rain, and that was around the Orange area. Not a whole lot of rain with this, and we didn't think the rain was going to be a problem as the storm moved in. Even if it was taking a little bit more of a westerly track, we thought we'd get maybe about 4 to 8 inches of rain, which would maybe cause some localized flooding. But we got about half of that across the area, so which is good. You can definitely see a little bit higher amounts through parts of southwest Louisiana. But once again, they didn't see a ton of rain either, just because the storm was moving very quickly. It was the wind that was the big deal with this storm. And let me show you some of the wind gusts we had here in southeast Texas. If we can get to, there we go. Wind gust, Beaumont was 58 miles per hour, Port Arthur 72, so very close to hurricane strength, if not some places at hurricane strength. Then Orange says 54, but that's because the wind gauge, or the anemometer, broke or stopped reporting before the actual hurricane force winds came through the area with that outer part of the eye wall coming through that western section. So I would imagine the number in Orange is probably closer to about 84 than 54 as far as the maximum wind gust. And then Jasper, 35. I haven't checked it here over the last hour or two since the western side of the eye moved past them. So that I bet that number is probably a little bit higher as well. I'll have to update that number. But earlier this morning when I put this together, they only had a wind gust of about 35 because they were just too far to the north to really see the heavy rain. What can you expect the rest of the day? Well, rain's moving out. It should be out of here by 10 o'clock, I would think. And then as we go through the afternoon, just partly cloudy, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures up around the lower 90s for today. Southwesterly winds throughout the day. And then overnight, I'm expecting a dry start going through the overnight, and then we'll start to see some showers maybe develop, especially off towards our east, maybe about a 30-40% chance of a couple of showers through the overnight. And then tomorrow, we are looking at some scattered showers and maybe a few thunderstorms. Can you all tell me, what do you know, look, is this drone footage?
Yes, this is
okay, drone footage of Orange right now. So
live pictures from our sister station KHOU. Our drone in the air right now, starting to get an assessment from the air.
Oh, very cool. So once again, we're seeing a lot of trees down over there, a little bit of street flooding. Not sure what part of Orange that is from, but that's kind of the typical scene we've been seeing across the Orange area, as we have a couple of different crews going through there. A little bit of street flooding, and then a lot of limbs down across that area. Our forecast today: hot, humid, temperatures around 90. Then tonight, some scattered rain. We'll see temperatures back down into the 70s, and then the 7-day forecast shows rain chances pretty much every day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday at about 50 to 60%, with highs in the lower 90s. So just keep the umbrella handy. We'll see scattered rain, about 40-50% coverage each afternoon. It'll be a little bit less of a rain chance as we head towards the end of next week.
All right, and Vanessa, you have some more of those pictures there on social media. Let's take some more looks at the destruction. That's in Orange, is that right?
Right, we just showed you this church just moments ago, a church in Orange that the back part of that church has been destroyed by heavy winds. The roof into the parking lot. So we're seeing these pictures pop up on Twitter and social media from our reporters and crews around town. You're looking at drone footage right now, live pictures from the drone showing the flooded streets in neighborhoods of Orange, trees blocking roadways there. We're seeing a lot of this, and just, this is what's causing the power outages. Now, looking at Entergy's website, we're now passing the 100,000 mark when it comes to power outages. We're at 104,000 customers right now without power in Southeast Texas, and this is the reason why. Those high winds came in and knocked out power, knocked down trees, and so we're seeing a lot of that in our neighborhoods right now. Again, drone footage going back up to give you a better idea of what this is looking like.
Yeah, and once again, Orange was probably the hardest hit by the strongest winds. I would imagine wind gusts there were up over 80 miles per hour, maybe approaching 90 miles per hour. So that's why I think, from what we've seen so far this morning as far as different areas and damage, the Orange area has probably got the most limbs down that I've seen anywhere. And we've seen a little bit of structural damage. Matter of fact, I remember we had the storm tracker going down 16th Street in Orange, and we actually even had a couple of power poles snapped. So you have to have some pretty good winds in order to do something like that. Tree limbs, you'll see those down because we have some older tree limbs. But when you're talking about a power pole being snapped in half, you're going to have definitely hurricane force winds for that.
All right, I am actually in a conversation with the Orange County Judge, John Gauthier, calling him right now.
Oh.
Good morning, Judge. Vanessa Broussard with 12 News. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good so far.
So far, so good. You're live with us on air right now. We're looking at live pictures from our drone in Orange, starting to get an assessment of what the debris, the damage is looking like. Now that the sun has come up, what are you being told about your county?
Pretty much the same thing. I mean, we've got our crews are out now. They've left probably about 35, 40 minutes ago and out looking at stuff. And so we're getting reports coming in about road. But right now we're mainly checking the main thoroughfares and roads to make sure they're passable. And we're getting good reports on most of them. And the ones that we have blockages on, we're sending our road and bridge crews out to handle what they can handle and getting electrical crews on those, the ones that they can't do because of electricity. So that's what we're doing right now. That's kind of our process this morning, and hopefully have that, at least covered mostly by noon. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, sounds good. So they hit the ground running as soon as the sun came up.
Yes, ma'am. They were out. They were loaded and ready to roll as soon as they got enough light that they felt safe to be out there. Then they left.
We've seen a few restaurants. We've seen a Popeye's Chicken. We've seen a McDonald's with some windows blown out. We've seen a church with some damage in Orange. Have you seen any real significant damage in your county?
Not as of yet. I mean, of course, if it's your home, it's significant. So, we know we have some homes with some trees on them and some roofs and that took some serious damage, on the roofs and stuff. But that's probably the most that we've heard so far. Like I said, but a lot of our citizens aren't here yet. And I'm sure as they start coming in, we'll start hearing more reports about those kind of damages as well. But right now, it's that's why our focus is the roadways first, because we know people are anxious to get back, and we want to make sure those roads are clear before they start doing that.
And you talked about I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's our focus right now, and then as we get through that, then we'll start looking at more in depth into the structures and stuff. Right now, all our county crews are out as well looking on the roads, but they're also looking at all our county buildings to check those to make sure that they're safe for people to come back.
Okay, and that's what I was going to go to next. You were talking about people coming back. Any idea of, could it be hours or maybe tomorrow? Any idea yet of when you will lift that mandatory evacuation order?
Well, yeah, the mandatory evacuation part probably will come either late this afternoon, maybe tomorrow is what we're kind of looking at. But that does not stop people who want to come back from coming back. We're not stopping them anywhere. We're letting people come on back that want to come back. We don't really see a reason to not let them come back. You know that from past experiences, you know that the people want access to their homes, they want access to their businesses, and we want to allow that as much as possible, as long as it's safe to do so. And again, that's why we go back to the roads. That's why we're focusing on that first. And but we're not stopping. If they want to come back and start heading back, they can. What we're kind of asking them to do is give us a little time, so that we can make sure that this area is safe for them to come back. And then as they come back into their own properties, again, asking them to be safe on their own property, because the tree may not have fallen down, but it may be damaged enough that it could. So we want people to be careful.
Right. Let's talk about, what a difference 12 hours makes. Just 12 hours ago, we were all holding our breath, not knowing what this storm was going to do. Here we are at 8:15 the next morning. That storm has already pushed on through and minimal damage. I mean, talk about a shift in moods. Can you talk about your reaction when you first heard that this storm, once it hit Lake Charles, unfortunate for our friends there, but it started moving more north, dodging your county. What was your reaction?
Well, there's no doubt that was a relief. I mean, you hate for someone else. There's no doubt we hate for someone else to have to get it. But we were definitely relieved, and that wasn't until early this morning. When it started coming on, right before it was coming on land, that we kind of knew at that point that we were fairly safe as far as it not coming directly to us. And then even as it was coming on land, we were still, had some concerns about it still shifting a little bit to the left and that higher wind, numbers. But it kind of just, once it got on land, it just continued to veer east. And, and that's what really spared us, especially on the storm surge side. That was our biggest concern yesterday, on top of the wind, but the storm surge. We remember what happened during, the Ike storm, and that would, how much damage it did to the Bridge City area and southern parts of Orange and, Vidor. We wanted to make sure that that was our concern, that same scenario was going to play out, and that would have been far worse than certainly what we got. And so once we saw that thing was moving to the east of us, we knew that was taking that out of the picture for us. We weren't going to have to at least deal with that portion of it for the majority of our county. And then we just kind of focused on what the wind was going to do. And then we got fortunate with that. We saw, I think, about 100 mile an hour, kind of the same wind we know that we recorded here, but that's much different than 130, 140 mile an hour winds. And we were very blessed to have that, but we know our good friends to the east of us, and we're feeling for them, and we're checking out our resources so that as soon as we clear some of ours, we're going to be able to send in some help as well.
Good. A lot of people already, Louisiana was here for us when we needed it, and now it's our turn to return the favor.
That's exactly right, and we've had a lot of resources here. Once these teams get done with their assessments, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna send our local ones over there, and then I'm sure all the National Guard groups and stuff will be. We already asked them, and they said that they already know that they're going to be reassigned over there. So they're trying to get through here as quickly as possible so they can get over there to help those folks. And that's what we want to do now is, focus on them and help them out. Take care of our stuff over here, but we want to be able to get them some help as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to tell your residents this morning who are watching from whatever location, wherever they may be, when they drove away to safety outside of Southeast Texas?
Well, no doubt. We like I said, we were blessed, and by that. But the biggest thing I tell people right now is, we know they want to come home. We want them to come home, but the last thing we want is for them to have survived the storm and then come home and then get injured because there's safety issues at their home that they need to be cautious. There's a lot of down power lines even in their and not necessarily on the streets, but in their yards, and trees that may look safe, but they may have broken stuff at the top. So to be extremely, extremely careful once they get back in town. We don't want to lose life or injury after the storms pass because of the safety issues that are still out there.
All right, Judge Gauthier on the phone with us live this morning. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything you're doing and what your crews are doing to get power restored, get these the debris, the trees that are in our roads out of the roads so people can come back home, and hopefully everything will get back to normal very, very soon.
We certainly hope so, and I thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye. So you just heard from Judge Gauthier in Orange County, again, talking about what seems like very minimal damage. We're seeing some roofs, kind of blown off a little bit. We saw a church in Orange that had the back part of their roof blown off. We've seen some windows shattered at some of the fast food restaurants. We just saw a carport that had fallen on top of a car, but when you think of the grand scheme of things, this powerful Category 4 storm that just last night we weren't sure, was it going to go to Cameron Parish? Was it going to go to Orange County? We just didn't know which way it would go. It went to our west and spared Orange County of the worst. And so, like he mentioned, we've been saying all morning, you know, we feel for our friends in Lake Charles and Cameron Parish, but great news for Southeast Texas this morning. So you're still looking at live pictures from our drone aerial footage, getting our first assessment of what the damage is looking like at our homes. We're seeing lots of trees down in neighborhoods. But as Judge Gauthier just mentioned, the mandatory evacuation order has not been lifted yet for Orange County. But if you do come back home, be very, very careful because his crews are still out there working. And they're still trying to clean up this mess and trying to get power restored as well.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier, Judge Jeff Brannick has now lifted that evacuation order for Jefferson County, so folks in Jefferson County can start making their way back as well, as we have a lot less damage than we previously thought we'd have in Southeast Texas, and we're not sad about it, not even a little bit, Jeff. We like it when you get it wrong in the right direction.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't technically say we got
No,
it
you
wrong.
You
didn't.
did not get
You
it wrong. Yeah.
But I mean, all along we say, you know what? If this just shifts a
shift
little
this
bit
way
more
or that
one way
way.
or that way, it's
Sure.
going to make all the difference in the world. And that's exactly what happened as this moved into the area. That shift over the last couple of hours from a northwesterly track, which was going to take it right up to Sabine, where we're going to kind of split the storm between southwest Louisiana and southeast Texas. It shifted more to the north, and instead of the eye wall really affecting both states, it really just affected parts of southwest Louisiana. Now, we are looking at the Orange area. Now, they did probably get the worst effect out of the whole state from this storm, as they were on the western edge of the eye wall. So definitely looks like they had hurricane force winds over in that direction. And you can see all the trees down towards the Orange area. And we've seen some power poles that were bent over, a couple have been snapped. We've been seeing a little bit of flooding in the roadways over there, but it hasn't been major. It's just been some street flooding here and there. That's it. I think the big deal over that way is just the tree limbs, tons of tree limbs
Yeah,
down.
we've seen a lot of this.
Yeah,
and
in
all
Orange,
these roads
yeah.
have been going down in Orange. Yeah, and that's what John Gauthier was saying is like, we're not trying to keep you out of getting back